Hi guys, and welcome to our review of the BMW X3. This is the all-new car, the third generation in this series, and here of course we've got it in range-topping M40i, guys. Now I've got to say, I think this is the best looking X3 so far. They've always been a bit mumsy, a bit school-runny sort of cars, haven't they? But this one looks pretty serious, and this particular car with its 21-gen rims really fills out the wheel arches. It's got hexagonal shapes at the front now. That's a first for the BMW X model series. Now the M Sport, of course, it gets M Sport suspension, M Sport brakes, M Sport exhaust. The car is actually lighter than before and has optimal 50-50 front and rear weight distribution. What you really want to know is what's under the bonnet. It has a straight six, a 3-litre twin turbo that puts out 360 brake horsepower and 369 pounds-foot of torque from 1450 RPM up to 4,800 RPM, giving it a 0 to 100 time of 4.8 seconds. Top speed is limited as usual to 250 kilometers per hour, but it's quite slippery shape. 0.29 CD, which is one of the lowest of a car in this segment. So maybe if you took the limiter off, I reckon 270 would be quite possible in this car. Prices? Well, they are around 320,000 dirhams for this model, which is about $87,000. That's quite a hefty amount for what is basically a mid-size SUV. But it's fully loaded, it's got all the kit, all the safety features that you'd expect, all the driver's aids as you expect, panoramic sunroof, gesture control. You know when they introduced that on the 7 Series? This has got that, you know, the one where you're telling the world you've gone a bit mad. And they say, well, you probably have for spending that much on the SUV, but you never know. And it's also got things like that special key fob with all those extra controls on it. We're not going to go into all of that, but we are going to look at its practicality, because at the end of the day, you're going to buy a car like this because you're going to enjoy driving it, but you also got to have it, it's something that's practical for the family, right? So as ever, let's go to the boot. So let's have a look. Power tailgate, of course, as you'd expect in a car of this price. And inside here, quite a practical bit of boot space actually, quite wide this way and long that way. Not so deep, but then you have a high floor which lines up exactly with the rear bumper, so there's not a lip that you have to get stuff over. Having said that, there is an underfloor compartment, and the interesting thing about this is you notice it stays up. Once I do that, it stays up all by itself, and it does that because it's got its own little hydraulic start, which is quite nice, isn't it? And you got a little space here, that's just the rear tonneau cover, and then over there there's a bin. So there's a bit of a hiding bin there to put stuff in, so that's quite handy. Hidden underneath there is actually the first aid kit. There's a pocket there, an elastic band there. Let me put that back down again, there you go. And a little hook there, over there, which is also replicated on this side, along with a power supply. These can open, but I think they're just to get access to stuff there. And then this lever here, which is on this side as well, simply there to drop the rear seat. And as you can see, they're fully split folding seats. Now, no spare tire and no tire repair kit that I could locate, so that's a bit worrying. But anyway, otherwise, quite practical. Let's get into the rear seats and see what they're like. Hello! Here we are in the back. Let's put this seat back up again. There you go. Nice and easily done. Nice seats there, nicely trimmed. And Isofix child seat anchor points there. We have a center armrest with, of course, cup holders in there. That's quite handy. Full length sunroof, as I mentioned earlier, so that's quite nice. Gives a nice spacious feel to the cabin. And the interesting thing about this, you see that I'm quite reclined, actually, because the seat backs are in a reclined position. You can actually have two positions, so a little bit more upright. So there you go. And even when the position is more upright, I've still got plenty of headroom, even with this full length sunroof. So let's put that back again, because actually it is more comfortable like that, isn't it? Up here you've got two different types of reading light. So you've got a full light, okay, so that's a full light, and then that's a reading light, so that's quite interesting, isn't it? You've got sunshade, obviously, nice bit of trim, bit of wood, and then an X logo over there. Door pocket with a bottle compartment there as well. Down here you've got two vents, and over here you've got controls for the climate control, just for the rear compartment, so that's quite handy. And you do have a power supply back here. Oop, I've just lost the lid there. Let me find that. Found it. And other than that, it's a bit disappointing because there's no USBs. And you know how much that annoys me. Anyway, other than that, it's pretty comfortable. This seat obviously is set for my driving position, so I'm sitting behind myself, which actually means this is very good because I can twiddle my feet, my shins are not touching the seat base, and my knees are not even touching either because they've scooped this out. So actually very clever. So yeah, very nice back here. Time to get into the business end, which is the front. Okay, so here we are. First things first, let's turn it on. As you can see, welcome, BMW Driver 1. It has obviously profiles, so it remembers which one you are. Well, I think it does anyway. Starter button, there you go, and it all comes on. And there's a little X3 there, and then it tells you that you're in the M40i, so that's helpful, isn't it? And it's binging for some reason. Over here, it's got the new interface thing, the same, well actually it's not new, but I think it's the latest generation that BMW has, which of course is controlled by the controller down here. And then as I turn that, you can get, you know, I don't know how it's getting the temperature. I don't know if it's hooked up to my phone or something. It's doing something, because I've also noticed if I hit map, you know, you get the green lines and the red lines, so I'm not sure if it's actually hooked up to my phone and it's getting live data. Media, all the rest of it, it's all the usual stuff. You know, nothing, you know, too fancy to show you there. What I do want to show you is this series of buttons down here. That's obviously hill descent. That's the camera. Now, I don't know how to change it from this camera to the other cameras, but what I do know is that if you put it into reverse like that, then you get pretty good 360-degree camera on there. So, and that's quite handy. So put it back into park, and let's hit menu on that one to change the screen back. Just show you quickly in here. There's two cup holders. There's a wireless charging plate for the phone thing, but there's also a USB down there. In here, there's also a USB plus. It gets that key. Remember I mentioned it got that key that the 7 Series has, which to me is a little bit, I don't know what the point of that is really. Because, you know, famously it helps you to park the car, but then it runs out of charge, so it's got to be left in here, and I don't know. And then there's another key thingy in there. Oddly, I don't know why that M logo there seems to be facing away from the driver, which is strange because everything else is very driver orientated. Anyway, what I wanted to show you, obviously there's this bit here, which is basically all of your controls, your sensing controls. So it's got lane keep assist and collision avoidance and all the rest of it. And I've turned most of them, well, I've reduced most of them. Actually, you can configure. So this is a touchscreen as well as a knob thingy, but I prefer the touchscreen. So you get lane departure, collision, steering intervention, all the rest of it. Again, the thing I actually wanted to show you were these buttons here. You got the off for the traction, but you have Eco Pro, Comfort, Sport, Adaptive. So Eco Pro obviously is just and look here, the dials have all gone blue as well. Look at that, and then and that tells you that it's Eco Pro, which you can configure. And then you go into Comfort, and then you get the regular dials, and the car comes up, and it's in Comfort setting. If I press Sport, you know, it's gone a bit red, and then I'll just show you it's on Sports Plus. You can have individual, and then you can configure individual in Sports Plus, or in Sports actually. Sorry, configure individual. And then you can configure whether you want that. That's how I've configured it at the moment. Going back into Sport, you've got Standard Sport, and I just want to show you the difference here. That's a Comfort setting, and then that's a Sport setting. So a little bit more focus on, you know, just giving the things. It's got a heads-up display as well, which I don't know. Yeah, you can just about make out there. So, and then you got the Sport steering wheel with the paddle shifts for the 8-speed transmission. Pretty comfortable, good visibility, Harman Kardon sound system, good as you'd expect. Nice to be up here. The main thing though, see what it drives like. Right, so let's see what this baby can do. Let's start off in Comfort. We've got an empty road here. These roads aren't used, they're closed. So let's just do an acceleration in Comfort. Then we'll try in Sport and see what the difference is. So 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, it took a little bit of a moment there, and off we go. Wow, still pretty quick. Okay. Well, brakes are pretty good as well. Right? Oh, and the hazards come on. So let's now put it into Sports. Heck, let's just go into Sports Plus, shall we? Let's turn the hazards off. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Oh, more quicker response. Still a little bit of a gap before the power really kicks in. To be honest, it's just as quick. I can't really tell that much difference. I think it was as quick then. So let's go. Oh, wow. Turns in pretty good. Holds the road pretty good. All-wheel drive, of course. Wow, the turning is surprisingly responsive. A lot of sand on the road here, but we can make it. We're okay. We get through this bit. Got a bit of sand on this. We just got to get over this. This is all-wheel drive. It's not a car that I would take off-road, though. Honestly speaking, it's not an off-roader as far as I'm concerned. But wow, oh wow, it pivots round, and it's got quite a sharp turn in, and actually it pulls the background a little bit as well if you really throw it in and put the power on. I'm quite enjoying this. And but oh yeah, good response, really holds the line quite keen, good road holding, fantastic sound. And you know, the exhaust is crackling and popping. I don't know if you can hear it, but particularly on the ground change, pop, 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 pop. It's doing that whole thing, which is kind of naughty and fun. But yeah, no understeer, holds tight. Really, you can punch it out of a corner with acceleration, with full acceleration, with confidence. Actually really good. I could do with a bit more weight to the steering, but the steering is nice as a thick. I believe they get a thicker M Sport wheel on this car. But great acceleration, great performance, a little bit of wind noise I'm getting, good braking. So again, another roundabout. And yeah, very responsive, incredible grip for a car this size. Bit of body. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that, because there is a bit of body movement, there's a bit of body lean, but the road holding is fantastic. And I think there's some kind of torque vectoring, or the M Sport stuff is doing its business, where, you know, it detects understeer just before it actually happens. So it's like, oh, understeer about to happen, no, pull it back. That's what it kind of does. So it's kind of clever, but actually quite satisfying to really chuck around hard. And this is quite a tight apex on this one. Nobody around, that's good. And oh yeah, a little bit understeer. Oh, but you can lift off and pull it back in again. So very, very nice. This is actually quite enjoyable. This is a fun little car, actually. I should have taken this to my favorite road where I normally test the sports cars, but being an SUV, I thought, well, there's no point taking it there. But I think that might have been a mistake. I think it would have been up for the task, really. But just even driving out there, so how are the paddle shifts? Quite responsive. This is in full sports plus, by the way. Whoa, pretty quick changes. Under braking, very nice. I gotta say, let me just go back into automatic, but I gotta say, it's actually quite a fun car to pedal around for a family SUV, let's be honest. A bit more than I was expecting, and of course plenty literally takes your breath away. That's fantastic. The punch is there. Just give it a moment or two. Just give it a moment or two for those twin scrollers to scroll up, and then off you go screaming into the horizon. So very impressive car, this X3 M40i. Of course, you know, this is not necessarily the one you're going to get, because I think there's a 2 litre. There's two 2-litre versions as well, I believe. So and those are probably the biggest seller cars in the European markets, obviously diesels. But if you're over here and you can afford the hefty price tag, then this is probably the one to get, because this is the one that's really going to impress your friends and going to surprise a few sports car drivers at traffic lights, I can tell you that much. So yeah, thumbs up from us, with the proviso that it's a bit on the expensive side, but yeah, otherwise it's a very good car. I like it. Thumbs up. Please leave your comments about the car and about the video below or elsewhere around this video. It'd be great to hear from you. Please do follow us on motoringme.com and I like that. All the social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, please do like, share, and subscribe. And while you're at it, why not follow me as well on Instagram? Put a lot of crazy stuff up there. It'd be great to see you. Thanks so much for watching. Until the next one.